Start with a prayer by Pastor Warren.
Morning. Governance is a blessing. Thank you. Join me in prayer. Creator, Redeemer, living God, you are our guide. As we gather today, we come with many things on our hearts and minds, but a couple of them are thanksgiving and praise. We give you praise for this nation and for specifically this community in which we live. We declare that we love it by our participation today. This season, we see your glory in the colors, and we are left speechless by the beauty. Although we are not perfect, and certainly our nation is not perfect, we are grateful for it and for the freedoms that you have allowed to flourish among us. Lord, we live in troubled times. Some might call it a little chaos. But out of chaos, you have always brought shalom. And so we pray for peace and shalom in our time. Our prayers are for truth and courage and transparency, so good can be clearly recognized and chosen. Give these council members wisdom and guidance as they deliberate and decide and lead. Also bless the citizens who have come to offer their voice as they discuss issues related to people and personnel and infrastructure. Guide their words and their thoughts. May every decision be good and righteous. And bless the people who are gathered here and our community in general. We also lift up those who serve in armed forces. We pray for first responders today who will be called upon. We pray for law enforcement, for those who willingly lay down their lives in order to serve us. We pray for our veteran community. May they continue to receive the support of a grateful nation, protect their families from all harm. And bless us as citizens as we rise in the coming weeks to exercise our citizen responsibilities to vote. May your will be done here on earth, even as it is in heaven. In the gracious and powerful name of our Redeemer, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Warren. Well, next we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Here.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Here.
Commissioner Bray, Commissioner Peterson,
Here.
Commissioner Fournier, Commissioner Francisco,
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky, and Zoom. Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here. Okay. We asked if, well, we got a couple things we wanted to add. Closed session at the end, so we could get an update on some of the union negotiations, so all the commissioners are aware of what's going on. So we'll add that at the very end after our public comments, just so we don't have to. And did anybody else have anything that they needed to add or?
I would not in addition, but I would make a recommendation to allow Judge Curtis to be moved up in the agenda, say after the action item 1, after the consent calendar is approved. He has a, I understand he has a busy schedule, so
Okay,
to accommodate him.
so we'll move that up on the agenda. Anything else? If not, I'd look for a motion to adopt the agenda. So motion by Commissioner Peterson, second by Commissioner Fornia. Questions? All those in favor signify, or actually, yeah, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Public comment. So we have a public comment period. Anyone that's wished to speak, come up to the podium. 3 minutes. Got our timer working. Group effort.
Effort. That was quite supporting her. Oh, I got it. Ann Skiva, 2150 Somerset Drive, representing Friends of Plaza Pool. Next year, the Alpena County Plaza Pool will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. That means that our community pool has been well used and loved by many. It is open and is busy. This year, it is on the way to having over 40,000 visits to the pool. Some days, the pool is open at 6 a.m. and remains busy every weekday until 8 p.m. During weekday mornings, you will find adults and seniors doing aqua cardio classes, senior fitness, deep water aerobics, aqua chi, aqua surge, open fit fun, while others are working by themselves on mobility, flexibility, and balance. After lunch, second graders arrive for Ready, Set, Swim, followed by the Alpena High School Wildcat Swimmers and the Thunder Bay Schooners, both competitive swim teams that call our pool home. After their departure is evening volleyball, aerobics, water walking, lap swimming, and group swim lessons. Even with reduced hours on weekends, the pool remains viable and operating with additional lap time, volleyball, and water walking, as well as hosting the many private rentals and parties. All of these activities promote a healthy lifestyle, safety, recreation, and fun for all ages. Friends of Plaza Pool formed in 2001 and operates as a 501c3 nonprofit. We have been raising at least $20,000 a year for the past 8 years for a total of $168,000 that we have donated to Alpena County for operational expenses of the pool. In addition, Friends of Plaza Pool has fully or partially funded by partnering with local community organizations, foundations, and the Youth and Rec. We have purchased things such as the handicap lift at the pool, baby changing tables, aquatic exercise equipment, the Wibbit, free family swims, life jackets, CPR mannequins, free summer swims for youth, scuba instruction, and other community education programs for arthritis, balance, flexibility, and strength. Our community is very supportive of the fundraising, and we are grateful. The Alpena County Plaza Pool has needed several larger repairs this year. We would like to acknowledge that the county has generously supported these repairs. At this time, we would like to present Alpena County with a check for $5,000 that we would like specifically used for equipment repairs at the pool. This is in addition to the $20,000 that we have donated to Alpena County for 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? for public comment? Anyone online? Okay. Thank you. Close public comment at this time. Move on to the consent calendar. There was one item that was noted to be pulled, PC 2. So we'll pull that item. Is there anything else that anybody has questions on or wanted to pull? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a motion by Commissioner LaHoe, support by Commissioner Fournier? Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Next item is Judge Curtis.
Afternoon, board. I think it was here about 2 weeks ago. presented the request for the grant for drug court. And looking at that, realized that there is by statute a $5 surcharge that's placed on every civil filing in district court that, as I read the statute, you said shall be used for drug court. And so in full transparency, was explaining that. And the reality is, I think what it would do is if you say, yes, you can take the grant, we're going to use that money towards drug court, is we would start to bankroll it to apply it for almost next year's, because the way I think the grants work is you have to spend all of your other funds before you can use the grant. And I think it would get really complicated from an accounting standpoint to take filing fees in each month, try to spend those down, and then go towards the grant. So my thought would be starting from October 1 of 24 through September 30th, all of that 1 year amount gets set, and really would be using that then toward the what would be the 26 fiscal year for the drug court grants, almost the one in the future. But those dollars being saved and no longer being just simply part of the general fund. And I think you folks, I said, as I said, that was an amount that had always been spent toward the general fund. It's probably been thinking you were going to use it again, and wanted to at least let you know what I found and my position on it. And I guess I thought this was going to be the time you were going to let me know I can accept the grant, and thus those funds would be used in the future, or that you want the funds for the general fund, and I don't accept the drug court grant.
Those funds are separately tracked, even though they're within the general fund, they still can only be spent for adult drug court, even though they're within general fund.
All right, so then do we have the last 15 years, or when are there's a statute if there's set
You can
aside?
pull those. Now, are they set aside? Are they in a reserve on the balance sheet? No.
I'm not asking to go in the past. All I did is I said, hey, I looked at the line items and the things that I have for revenue coming in here and wanted to be able to explain them. Actually, when I talked to the state, well, the problem solving court administrators, I don't really think many courts actually do apply those monies. So again, I'm not looking at the past, but as I told you, once I realized that's the way the statute's written, I feel I have to apply the law as written, I'll be honest with you folks. So that's kind of where we're at. And yes, if they're then allocated, then next year, that would be an amount that goes into the drug court. As I said, my thought is from October 1 through September 30th. So then starting what would be the 26 grant, I was down first before I'm able to use the grant dollars in that year.
Okay, so then I guess you're requesting that you go ahead and,
That if I can accept the grant from the state to start the what they call their fiscal year starts October 1st, the 25 grant, take those monies, not having anything saved away, but as I said, those filing fees then from October 1st of 24, wrapping around to September 30th, 25, whatever that sum is. Next year, when I'm here asking for the grant, I'm going to say, hey, I would like to have those monies are going to be part of it.
okay, so is that something that we can easily track then, Kim?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess then I would look for a motion to allow the judge to put forward the grant.
That's really what it is. I think I've always had to come asked if I can take the grant dollars. It's just now understanding there is at least a different string attached, meaning that statute that says filing fees have to be used towards drug court.
And that grant, that didn't have any county match, or did it?
No, it's not a county match grant. It is a reimbursement grant, right? I get the bills, I send them in, the bills get paid, and then every quarter I account to the state saying, yes, these bills have been paid, please pay us back.
Okay,
So we started collecting this in 2019, February 6th of 2019. And to date, we have collected $38,569.
Okay, and that tracks.
So that's,
All right, that's 5 years at 36, and so it actually puts for $7,000 a year, then I think I was.
so it is definitely doable. So, and we would go back to when we had the adult drug court to subtract these participant fees. We'd have to look at each budget to see how much was left.
Are you looking at participant fees or district court filing?
I am
fees?
looking at district court filing fees.
And again, I'm not asking to
Yeah,
try to
not
take
participant.
monies from the past,
Yeah.
saying, hey, going forward, I'm comfortable with saying, hey, now that this is where we're at and how we're treating it is moving forward from
Okay,
October 1.
but I guess the main thing is to allow you to apply for the grant.
Apply for the grant, I have the dollars, I just have to have it reallocated by November 1st. And so I'm trying to juggle a lot of stuff right now, waiting for the okay before I then move some things around to try to make drug court work.
Okay. So I'd look for a motion to allow the judge to apply for
That motion.
Motion by Commissioner Peterson,
I'll support that.
support by Commissioner Francisco. Any other discussion? If not, roll call please on that.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray. Yes. Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay.
Motion carries.
Thanks for your time, folks. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
Next up is the bills by the clerk. Any questions on bills? If not,
The only one I got is Sheriff, that was your accident again?
Tahoe,
Your accident or control car?
60, whatever was 6,500.
6,500, okay.
And then we'd get the check from the insurance on that.
You got a check for $2,900, I believe.
Okay.
Our deductible's $2,500, so there's a little bit of money that's owed yet. Jim MacArthur was checking on getting the extra money back, and I don't know where the status is.
Haven't heard back yet from them.
Okay. Okay. So you good with that?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
If there's nothing else on the bills, I look for a motion to pay the bills.
Make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner LaHaye,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Bray. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Carried.
Next, we have Van.
Good morning. Oh, it's afternoon now.
Yep.
My name is Jessica Wolfen. I am the Community Corrections Manager for Alpena, Alcona, Crawford, Sheboygan, Montmorency, and Otsego counties. I am just here to let you know how our grant process is going this year, just about as well as the judges is. We had asked for 330,000 originally, and they offered us 175,000. In Alpena County, currently, we have only worked with incarcerated individuals who are charged with a felony. About 3 months ago, we decided to move it to pretrial individuals who are charged with a felony. They're out on bond. They need a tether, drug screens, PBTs, that kind of thing. We didn't realize that it was going to go so well over here. Judge Curtis, Sheriff, Deputy Lash, they worked so hard for the last few months to get us up and going where we are in this county. To the fact that when I just did our final quarter report for the end of the year, we were at about 127% utilization. Unfortunately, in the past years, we've been really low on the utilization. So that's why they only gave us half of what we asked for. In 3 months, we can ask for some more money, but as of right now, I have 3 part-time employees in 3 different counties that all work 18 hours a week. Their hours were cut to 8 hours a week. They're still expected to, according to the state, to keep those numbers and the utilization up, all while working 10 hours less a week. So I lost 30 hours. I had to cut my hours as well. It's been a really rough process, a lot of crying nights, trying to figure out how we're gonna make it all work. We're hoping it's still gonna work. We've been working with Judge Curtis and the Sheriff's Department and trying to just figure out where we go from here. We're hoping in the next 90 days, though, that we can ask for more funds, keep the program going where we want it to go. It's not funded by any of our counties at all. We are completely grant funded, so we do not ask for a match of any kind. I just need your permission to basically, like the judge said, accept the grant.
So just a quick question. So is this from MDOC, from the Department of Corrections?
Yes, it is.
So the state's saying do more with less.
Correct,
So,
as always.
okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to approve the grant. Actually, we have a resolution.
The support.
And we have We need to read this.
I'll read it in. Resolution 2427, approval of the FY 2025 Community Corrections Grant application for the Northeast Michigan Council of Governments. Whereas the Northeast Michigan Council of Governments, NEMCOG, serves as a fiscal agent and program manager for the Northeast Michigan Community Corrections Advisory Board. And whereas NEMCCAB strongly desires to provide community corrections programs and services in Northeast Michigan. And whereas NEMCOG has worked with the Office of Community Corrections and members of the NEMCCAB to develop a FY 2025 Community Corrections Grant application for the NEMCCAB. And whereas the FY 2025 Community Corrections Grant application has been prepared by NEMCOG in the amount of $175,000 for community corrections programs and services in the counties of Alcona, Alpena, Sheboygan, Crawford, Montmorency, and Otsego. Whereas the Northeast Michigan Community Corrections Advisory Board approves this grant application and recommends its approval by the member counties, therefore be it resolved that the Alpena County Board of Commissioners approves the FY 2025 Community Corrections Grant application for the annual amount of $175,000 for programs and services.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and support. Any other questions by commissioners? Only question that I have, and I think you kind of said it, but so you're working with $175,000 that's spread out between those 6 counties?
Correct. Last year, I think our budget ended at 272,000. So we've added programs here and we've added programs in Crawford County. And now they gave us less money. So
So you said that you can apply for more money when?
in about 3 months.
3 months? Do you expect that you would get additional money, or is that like wishful thinking?
No, it's almost expected, every year at the end of the grant. So this year, the state of Michigan as a whole, there's 48 counties that do, community corrections. This year they asked for 19 million and the federal government only gave us 14 million. Historically, at the end of every year, we give about $1 million back to the federal government. So that's collective through all 48 counties. So getting extra money is generally pretty easy. We just have to show why we need it.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we do have the motion and support.
Just a quick, so each one of those counties, do they all have their own county jails?
No.
Oh, okay,
Montmorency obviously is housed over here, and then Elkona is down in Iosco.
okay. All right.
Any other questions? If not, do we need a roll call on this one?
I don't think you have to.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Next item is JP.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Having me today. Earlier this month, I believe Jesse offered today a phone poll you guys for our new boat and was approved to purchase that boat. And I appreciate that a lot under the FY 22 Stone Garden Grant that's fully funded. Sheriff Smith and I got looking at some options on that boat after that was approved, and we just had these are some options we'd like to try to get. I've been told through the Border Patrol liaison person that most of these options will be covered, if not all of them, by FY 24 Stone Garden Grant. But I will not know that for a couple months yet. So I'm seeking permission to add these items onto the purchase of the boat so we can order the boat. And then if the items are not covered, it's under $5,000 that I'd be requesting to have in next year's budget for the purchase of those items.
Okay.
He's confident they'll be covered, but he can't guarantee me that because he's not the one that makes the final decision.
What kind of options
are they? Yeah.
So it's side steps. So it's a tube sided boat, rubber sided boat. There are steps that go on the side of the boat and a step on the front of the boat with an anchor mount. And then a engine guard for the back of the boat.
Is this different than, or is it a smaller boat than
It's a
the one?
smaller boat, yes, sir. Replaces the last boat we used to use, that we've had for 24 and a half years.
Is that the
Yardcraft.
is that the one that had the roof on it?
It had the roof on it, yes.
That's gonna, this one will replace that
I'm
one?
not sure exactly what our plan is yet, but that boat no longer has a roof on it.
Yeah.
Like that, so.
I heard. That for getting sun in the summertime.
And weather, yeah, from the rain and stuff.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
Safety concern on it, just having the side steps.
Well, it's that, yeah, to get on and off and rubber sided boat when it gets wet, it's just a little bit slippery. Yep.
On the backside of the,
Then you can go for protection back.
yeah.
These were options we didn't look at. So we put this proposal for the boat together back. It was last April. We were actually looking at a different manufacturer. And then when we were talking to the person that had that manufacturer, he's like, I have this new line of boat. And we looked at it and we liked that boat a lot better. It fit our needs a lot better. And the picture showed the options, but the base price did not have the options.
That's how they get you.
They get you, yeah.
With these side steps, because I know Eric has talked about the rubber sided boats are better to, when you approach other boats, are these side steps?
They are only on top.
Okay.
They're about 24 inches long and on top of the
Wouldn't
two.
cause any problems.
Correct.
And what they're really made for is when you're taking somebody from one boat, transferring them onto our boat in weather, they have a sure footing, so they're not slipping on the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, Peter's was better. Is it necessary? I mean, we can get by without, but it is a, a safety.
Okay.
$1,000. No, it's a lot of money, but long run, it's a boat that we're gonna use for a long time, so.
Okay, so what are Mr. thoughts?
And just for clarification, JP, you said usually at or about $5,000 and it should be covered by the FY 24 Stone Garden grant.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
So how will you, so once we get the Stone Garden grant, do you submit the invoices for this to see if it gets approved, or how do you do?
No,
that?
they'll let me know ahead of time if the items are approved or not. So I just finished finalizing that last week with the Border Patrol agent.
Yep.
He submits it. It's gonna be 2 or 3 months before we hear back
Okay.
on whether those items or not.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Peterson to approve the add-ons for the vote. We know the exact cost, so we
I have the exact list of items and the add-ons.
know the exact cost then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was the exact cost?
The side steps are $1,300
Do you have a total?
total,
Yeah.
$4,579.
So for an additional $4,579.
79.
Line item
Would line item would be 101,312,977.001, which would have to be created for the 25 budget.
Okay.
So you'd have to make that adjustment. Please send an email so that gets done.
Ma'am.
Thank you.
Kim got that because I saw her over there writing. She's good. Okay. So we have a motion to approve,
I'll support it.
support by Commissioner LaHaye. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier? Yes. Commissioner Francisco?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Bray? Yes. Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Adam, MSU Extension Annual Report.
Good afternoon, I'm Adam Coivisto, District Director for MSU Extension. I have with me today Michelle Eagling, our 4-H program coordinator. Each year we come before the board and do our annual report presentation to you. And this year, Michelle and I are going to tag team. I'll do a little bit at the end to kind of cover some areas that she doesn't, but we're going to start off with a 4-H update. I wanted to let you know that Alpena County has one of the largest 4-H groups in northern Michigan. And Michelle does an excellent job running this program. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about it. I'll turn it over to Michelle.
We leave that report up there.
Sure.
What we're looking at. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle. So, you guys have this annual report. So just to share, we had a lot of programs. We were super successful this year statewide with a lot of participation in youth who got to experience a lot of opportunities outside of Alpena, which is a new growing thing that I try to incorporate with the kids. So we had a lot of kids that went to MSU Exploration Days, which is right on campus. And then we had a lot of kids that participated in the state horse show. You'll kind of see some of that. We had a lot of volunteers travel to do the shooting sports certification, including myself, so that we can get that back and running. That kind of, I think I shared with you guys before, that dissipated in when COVID happened. So I have 6 volunteers who went, we got certified so that we can start archery, shooting sports, and air rifle, which will be based off here in Alpena, but then of course includes the modalities with safety being the largest piece of that education. Still working with all the schools, including Pied Piper. And we still have a huge partnership with Pied Piper. Our partnership with the library was a little bit more extensive this year than in previous years, including community events with them. We had a lot of petting zoos this year. That never seems to go away. Everyone just wants petting zoos, but so. And still an increase in numbers. I've had a huge increase in volunteers. So my position allows me to not only work with youth in schools, but then we have those 4-H clubs. So still maintaining those 18 kind of 4-H clubs that we have. Most of them are that animal science based. I've been contacted here this fall. Hopefully we can get that fruition. Actually, NOAA is looking at utilizing and putting all of their ROV stuff into a 4-H club. So hopefully we had that partnership about 7 years ago, and that also went away with COVID. So looking at that, and that looks like that's a group of about 45 kids in and around Alpena to do that ROV stuff. So we're looking to fruition that club and that partnership with NOAA and the Maritime Center. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, well, thank you, Michelle. And just to wrap up, I'm just going to touch on a few other areas. We had Morgan Hardy start as our new community nutrition instructor, and she's already off and running doing nutrition programs for mostly senior audiences and elementary school audiences, and it's all about healthy eating curriculum. Also wanted to highlight Mary Dunkel's work on the Alpena Area Joint Recreation Plan. She works very closely in the creation of that plan. She does a lot of writing on that plan and pulls together all those meetings for that. And then the last piece I wanted to touch on is the agricultural programs. This is the time, so in the summer, most of the ag programs are research. So we're working with local farmers and we're out in the fields doing research on what grows best in our region of the state. This time of the year, we're doing professional development for farmers. So upcoming here in December, there'll be a class here in Alpena for everybody with certain licensure that almost every ag producer has to do continuing ed credits, keep their licenses, or to sit for a test. We do like a test review that's approved by MDARD. So folks can either sit for that and not have to take the test, or some new people will sit for the class and then go take the test right afterwards. And then in the winter, we've got research reviews. So all the summer research that we did, that's when they're doing their publishing, is in the winter. And we have one coming up in February here in Alpena. And we'll pull from all the surrounding counties as well. That's where people learned the results of this research this past summer. So we're always doing that cycle. And the reason it's valuable for people is there's nobody else that does that kind of research in this area. So if they want to know what grows best in this region, what they can increase their yield on their particular crops, that's where they go to get those answers in those classes. And the last piece I'll highlight for you is the addendum to the annual report. Every year I include this. I know it's kind of a laundry list, and it's not very pretty to look at, but this is all the different classes that somebody took from MSU Extension in the last year that indicated that they live in Alpena County. So this gives you an idea of the variance. We always highlight the local staff work and the local programs in the annual report. But the addendum shows you everything else that people go. And they might not, all the classes might not have happened here in Alpena County, but people from Alpena County went to the classes. And this also includes the online classes. A lot of people take those as well from Alpena County. And with that, I'll stop and see if you have any questions for me.
Any question that I have, I see you got the number of classes. Let's see, does it have the total of attendees?
I can get that for you. But I thought the number of sessions is more important because some of these classes have a lot of sessions. So you can tell, usually those are like once or twice a week for multiple weeks. So I include that one because it's easier to squish it. But if you added up all the attendance from those classes, it would equal your programming reach on your front page of your annual report. So 2885.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyone else have any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, next up is Craig.
Good afternoon. My name is Craig Zlozny. I'm chairperson of Alpena County Older Persons Committee. You have the recommendations probably in front of you for 2025 request. We did a lot of hard work. I want to thank the whole committee that serves with us. Did a lot of hard work and we distributed money, I think, in a fair way. Out of the 10 requests, 8 of them are funded either 97% or better. 3 of them were actually 100% funded. I think we distributed the money to do the most good within the community of the seniors. Other than that, that's about all I have. Do you have questions? I might have an answer.
Craig, you've got, I'm looking at your 2025 request and approval, and there's an acronym MPAC, MPAC, that they asked for 10,000, you gave them 6,100 in 25 for a walking track. What is MPAC?
That's,
Multi-purpose.
it's the Northern Lights.
It's Northern Lights Arena. Oh,
Lights Arena.
okay, the walking track, okay.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
nonprofit that is put in because of management group, they couldn't apply for this. Because they're 501.
Yeah, there's.
They're not a 501.
At Northern Lights, the management company there. Okay, I got it. All right.
So the MPAC is the one that actually applies for the grants. I also had a question on that one, because my question was, what is it actually? So it's a walking track, and I'm not sure how does that support the seniors? Because is there a charge to use the walking track?
No, but they're trying to be open more hours and they're providing more, like coffee and whatever at the end or different things like that. But it's basically for an hours type of deal to make sure it's open and safe place for them. Okay.
How do they know if I'm a senior or not?
Well, that was a question that came up. No. You don't look like a senior, by the way, John. So I just want to make that clear, okay? No, they pretty much know their clientele, and they do not take, they don't have a sign-in sheet or whatever, but that's what basically who uses the walking track. So
There's a sign-in sheet there. We sign it all.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not really enforced. I mean, I just go in there sometimes and
Like I've never used it.
start just walking around the ice rink. I mean, I know, sorry, I guess I didn't know it was there.
Okay. Okay, so that answers that question. Next question that I had was the one on the grant for Habitat. Question I wrote down here is how are those funds distributed by the seniors in need of repairs? And then how will that be approved and who approves that? Is that
It goes, the the Habitat does a lot for a lot of different areas, a lot of different ages or whatever. But they have, this is in a separate account for people, you know, the 60 and older. And it goes through,
It's through my office.
it comes through.
All of the reimbursement requests, so Habitat for Humanity, they do all the screening and the prep work and get the jobs done. And then they submit a reimbursement request with all the documentation showing the taxes are paid, they are senior citizens. This is a repair that needed to be done to keep the senior citizen in their home. We get the insurance, we get the licensing, we get all that documentation before it is approved a reimbursement to Habitat for Humanity for the repair.
And is there a limit, because you got 118,000, is there a limit per individual then?
We haven't had one as so far. I think this is what, the third or fourth year that we've had this Habitat for Humanity grant. But again, we insist that this is a repair that has to be done so that the senior can stay in their home.
Okay.
And this year, there's been, what, one or two that have been,
It was either this year or last year where I did receive some requests for reimbursement that I did not feel they were repairs that needed to be done for someone to stay in their home. So I said, no, we weren't going to pass this through. And Habitat did request that I take it to the Older Persons Board, which I did. And they had the information and they stayed along with that. So these were situations where we would not reimburse Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
okay, so there's what, bottom line, checks and balances.
Yep.
Good point.
Okay, so any other questions by anybody?
So if I wanted to know who the point of contact was for this MPAC, you could provide that, or somebody can provide
I
that?
know it's, that's his name.
I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
I think it's Matt. Is it Matt? Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Those
So
homes are all in Alpena County.
Yep.
One of the first things I check.
I'll look for a motion to approve the recommendations by the Older Persons Committee for the 2025 Older Persons Grant Allocate. You don't have to make it just because I looked at it. Motion by Commissioner LaHaye,
I'll support.
support by Commissioner Bray. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye.
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow.
Yes.
Commissioner Bray. Yes. Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Next up, we have Tony. For the Youth and Rec Committee. application.
Good afternoon, Tony Sushak, Chairman of the Alpena County Youth and Recreation Committee. This year we had $1,055,168 worth of requests. It's 38 grant applications. We ended up approving 556,110, either full or partial, and 30 grants. So we are getting a lot of requests. Those that were not funded, it's not that they're not good programs. Sometimes they could be organizations that aren't putting any match in or things like that. We like to really be a partner and not have everything funded through the county. So that's our budget this year. For 2025, revenue should be 639,047. Total expenses of 625,053, which should include the grants of allocations of 556,100, $50,000 that we're putting in there for mini grants as a contingency fund, and then 18,943 for operating expenses, which includes the county's cost allocation. So some of the highlights would be Friends of Alpena Courts, Bayview Court reconstruction on State Street. All those courts would be totally, the current ones be totally demolished, and they will be putting in 3 tennis courts, 3 full-size basketball courts, and 5 pickleball courts. That'll be a great addition and reconstruction of that area. Alpena Plaza Pool, County Plaza Pool, being increased from 90,000 that we've given the last couple of years to $100,000 for next year. These are just some highlights. Alpena County Parks, Long Lake Park. We have really talked about day use areas in the parks, where people who may not have campers and stuff, which that area has been enhanced over the years. And we've had a great partnership with the parks, and to really improve the parks. But the day use areas aren't what they once were. And so we have really been emphasizing that. For Long Lake Park, they're gonna add in the day use area sand, gravel for parking, some picnic tables, grills, canopies over some of those picnic areas. That's 21,250. Beaver Lake Park, they're going to add also for day use, a sidewalk, ADA accessible, and a playground. That area, and we've been promoting that. That's a $35,000 grant. We also, Wolf Creek Park, I don't know if even the committee or the commissioners have been out there, but we've been supporting them for a number of years, and we'll add a playground and some docking. It's a fantastic park. It's well kept up. Visit if you haven't been there, but that's a wonderful park. And then throughout the proposals are things like supporting Northern Lights Arena and open skating to Little League, and a lot of registration assistance for figure skating, Little League, hockey, on and on and on. So that's the majority there. And also one of our biggest supports is MSU Extension. We'll support it, $41,200 this year for youth programming in 4-H. My understanding is that is, if the millage goes down, that's out of the budget. And so that's a dilemma for youth and rec. We strongly support that, as the residents would. So hopefully the millage will be successful, but we never know. We do have in our budget, and we couldn't sustain this, but I would be willing to go to the budget or to the youth and rec committee if the need be, if the millage were to go down, and ask for one there. As far if we so wanted us to keep that agreement, that would be a $51,000 cost that the county share each year is to sustain a staff member and keep the office open at the fairgrounds. So we would look at that. That's not in the budget right now. That would something we could talk about, but that's something on my mind, obviously losing 4-H, which affects really hundreds and even into the thousands of individuals and kids in our county. But I know we also have a lot of other issues with, if the millage goes down regarding staffing of the sheriff's department and everything else. So that's my report. Any questions?
Tony, I do. I mean, most of these, I understand, but I'm just, if you could just enlighten me. So, the Bayview Park, the reconstruction, they asked for 100,000 and you gave them 100,000. The Lions Club asked for 150 for McCray Park revitalization and new playground equipment, and you gave them zero, allocated zero. I mean, that area is used a lot, especially with families and kids, the pickleball courts now, Little League Baseball, there's a lot going on there, but that playground equipment, there's some of it that's been there since I think I was a kid. Why would they get nothing? I'm just kind of curious. It just to try to understand why they would ask to revitalize some playground equipment there on the north side, and there was zero allocated to them.
So great, excellent question.
Thank you.
The Friends of Alpena County Courts, the pickleball courts at McCray Park were funded
truly out of all donations. They didn't ask Youth Direct, they didn't ask anybody for those. They put together some fabulous courts that really tennis courts that weren't being used and they put that together. Their application actually was, so just for those on the committee or on the commissioners who don't know this, we add a number of like 5 extra meetings throughout the summer to allow every group to present their application. We read them through probably a couple times, but then we have applications come and present their proposals. And then we get a chance to ask them directly, because I've changed my mind on sometimes when people give their presentation, it totally affects how I would score them or rank them. And so we did that. And actually the night of those 2 groups presented one after another. First, the Friends of Alpena County Courts presented their proposal. The proposal is for, I'm trying to think of how much it is. It's for hundreds of thousands of dollars to revitalize that. They asked Youth and Rec for $100,000. The city of Alpena is going to throw in some money. They're going to fundraise over $100,000 from corporate sponsors and stuff like that. And then the Lions Club came in representing basically the city of Alpena, who owns McRae Park. And they had no partners, absolutely 0 partners. The city was giving them no money. They were not throwing in any of their own money. They were requesting playground equipment from a company in Texas, which we take exception to a little bit because we know we work with the schools and that sort of thing, who purchase all the equipment in the state of Michigan. And the prices were way high. They didn't give us 3 quotes. Really, there were a number of issues with that grant. We would love to have them come back. I told the city manager the Lions should come back. Absolutely. And actually, in the presentation, we named a number of issues where they could improve their grant. And we said, please modify it and come back to the committee. And because when they present in June, we don't need to send our budget in until September. So we would give them a chance to change some things, and they didn't do that. So the committee felt that, you know, they weren't being flexible and they weren't coming up with any fundraising. They were like I said, they were purchasing equipment out of state. And so that's the difference really, Bert.
Okay, well, thank you for your answer. I appreciate the information. Okay. I am not a member of the Lions Club, but yeah,
Well, I find it very interesting that it's a city park, and we looked at the playground equipment. It's not that bad. We want to enhance the whole area also.
Yeah.
Youth and Rec would, I mean, we've enhanced the townships, you know, for the older kids, but the T-ballers and all that, they need to have very good facilities over at McRae Park. We have told them that. It's just for the city of Alpena not to put any money into that entire project. I didn't think it was fair.
Okay.
At all, really.
That's disappointing to say the least.
But I would love to see them come back next year, to be honest with you. McRae Park's a very important part of our community.
Yeah, and it's getting used more and more because there's so much so many other activities that seem to be going. A lot of kids, like you said, the T-ballers, I mean, they have siblings that are looking for someplace to go and for kids to play, and it could be, there's a lot of opportunity there. But thank you for that, Tony.
This summer, but I don't know.
Couple of little things did go in there, but okay.
But didn't there was a change that the city took over the actual building because there was another group that managed it?
So I think there's like 3 different groups managing, like the pavilion got painted, whatever. The fields are run by Little League, and then the Lions Club are maintaining the playground. And so
I'm just wondering if they were just putting their money into that building versus.
I don't think the city put any money into.
They didn't. It's kind of notorious. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always trying to, this is a county millage. We need support from others. We get over $1 million worth of requests. The city of Alpena, the schools, the college, those were some of the ones that were turned down. They need to kick in some money. I remind the committee all the time that this is a county millage, so my emphasis, or we should be considering facilities that are owned by the county, and that includes the pool, that includes Northern Lights Arena, that includes the parks, and on and on. You know, and that's part of our scoring, if you will. And then after that comes what kind of partnership and fundraising have these organizations done to support these? And then, of course, how beneficial and how many people in the community will it affect? You know, and it was night and day, I will tell you, between the presentation between the Friends of the Alpena Courts and the Lions Club.
I would just hate's the horrible word is, I would be concerned about the fact that we are scoring it on an organization's ability to give a fine presentation versus maybe they're not as articulate or whatever, and not being able to give as flamboyant a presentation, and yet, you know, the elements that would be disadvantaged are the kids and the public. And
But Bert, I want to go back to the playground equipment. The shipping was like $20,000 from Texas for this equipment. You know, and it was the pricing of the equipment. I can buy the same exact equipment at a company in Michigan that I know Alpena Public Schools, every school in the ESD here uses much cheaper.
Okay.
Same quality of equipment. So they were basically price gouging us. And I wanted to, the Alpena County Youth and Recreation Committee in April invites anybody who's applying for a grant, and the deadline is always May 1st. Anyone who's applying for a grant to come to a workshop session where we will review any applications and give you some ideas. Again, the Friends of Alpena Court and others showed up at that meeting, asked questions so they could finalize their grant. The Lions Club did not.
Okay.
You know, so there's a whole lot of things that went into this. I would encourage the Lions Club to talk to the committee and put in a better proposal, basically.
no argument from there, Tony. I got it. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the youth and rec and applications for 2025. Motion by Commissioner Fournier,
I'll support that.
support by Commissioner Francisco. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Francisco?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Bray?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. And to what you do and all your committee members. I know you guys do great work. Sorry for the little discussion, yeah, but I'm just trying to get a little more of a deeper dive to understand. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Just, so you have the MSU extension, but you kind of threw that in there. during your-
Well, Jesse put that on there, so.
Okay. So you didn't want to talk more?
Not really, I just got beat up. I just brought up the idea that I would be willing to bring to the Youth and Rec Committee. And we have some extra funds just because sometimes groups don't use their funds and they aren't used. We do have a little fund balance, not a lot, but we could, in the event, we want continuity. We're into the school year. We would want continuity. I would talk to MSU. I would talk to Jesse and see if we could continue, if the millage went down, at least programming for 2025. If the commissioners would want us to. It's predetermined. I don't want to affect, I mean, we couldn't sustain that for 2026 or anything like that, the county's portion, but we could keep it going for a little bit if the Youth and Rec Committee approved it. That was my only thought.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, we would have discussions if that was needed, and I just wanted to, because my understanding, talking to Kim Ludlow, is we're already in the process of letting them know, you know, I mean, it's a staffing issue, you know, people may be looking for other jobs, who knows what they're doing, so we would like to sustain that in 2025, if at all possible. I say we, I would ask the committee at our November meeting, which is 2 days after the election.
Yep. Okay.
Chairman, just coincidentally, 2 days after the election would be your next budget workshop as well.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay,
That's just a thought, so I wanted to share that.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Logan.
Good.
Afternoon.
Looking for the approval of the bids that went out for video surveillance cameras and a system on behalf of the city. The cameras for the county and the system for the city. And the amounts on the action items are not to exceed and not actually that amount. That's the top end range, but I anticipated to be somewhere like $1,500 to $2,000 less than that.
These are, both action items are for the city?
No, the first one is for the county,
Oh.
the cameras one.
And where would those cameras be put for the county?
The county ones are going to be the exterior of the annex building and the 911 and MDOC building, as well as the interior of 911 and MDOC and the basement here, this end of the annex.
Okay. Okay. So I look for a motion to approve the recommendation by Logan for the Modern Tech Solutions LLC for the proposal, no more than 9785. We have this money already budgeted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I look for motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ray,
I'll support.
support by Commissioner Fournier. Any other discussion?
You've got the 9785, that's the one you're gonna take?
That's, well, he said they did bid openings and this was the one that was selected out of the bids that we received.
Okay.
And it's not to exceed, because I had already talked to Logan earlier. I said, why did we go the high side? But in his memo that's attached, it was between the low and the high, and it probably will be in between, somewhere in between there. So not necessarily be the 9785, but not to exceed the 9785.
And the money's there.
Yep. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Next item, same thing, request for proposal, but this one's for the city. 47, how come they get the better deal? Less.
Buying less equipment.
Same thing, this one will go to the city. That's covered under their contract with us, and that's budgeted as well, correct?
Yeah, we'll purchase it and then they'll reimburse us.
I'll make the motion.
So motion by Commissioner Peterson,
I'll support that.
support by Commissioner Francisco. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Logan, could you please tell me, are you the one that sends out before you know?
The number four,
Or you know.
or Kyle handles most of the actual bill for training.
Okay, would you please tell Kyle not to send me anymore? I don't plan on, getting an IT license. Don't need the test.
Relay the message.
Thank you. I keep sending him back, but he keeps sending him back.
Next item is the Courts and Public Safety, which was me. The only thing that was yesterday's meeting, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm discussing the right meeting. We approve the MIDC grant for 1.157617.92 for the grant. Our portion of that remains the same. The state is giving us the funding for the rest of that. Our portion is the 164,640. We also approved the grant with the MAC administrator for 18,000. That's part of the MIDC grant, which is covered. And then the contract with the Public Defender's Office for 893,947, which is also covered under the MIDC grant. Those are the main things. That's all I have. Next up is personnel. And if you don't have anything
I
to
do.
say, don't say it.
I'm filtered today, don't worry.
Hold on.
Yes, I do have a report. We are supposed to be doing evaluation for the county administrator, and it's due by the end of November. Jesse, have not sent out the questions or?
I've given the information to Jennifer and removed myself from it, so
Okay,
she's
so
gonna be working
Jennifer-
with you, yeah.
Be sending out, okay,
So basically, it's the same thing that we've done in the past.
right, but I mean, it hasn't been sent to us
Yeah,
yet,
okay.
so,
So
in
I'll-
order to fill out. And when we do, it's due at the end of November, when we get it. And see, I had one more. Okay, we're currently taking applications for the opioid steering committee. And then the applications will come before the personnel committee at the next meeting. And I don't know, it looks like Commissioner Francisco is working with the opioid.
I was.
Okay. If we have any assistance, he'll help us with that. And then we went into closed session, so that's basically all the.
Okay, all right, thank you. Moving on to other reports and boards. District 1, Commissioner LaHaye.
Planning Commission didn't meet last month. They're gonna meet this month, so I don't have a report there. The veterans met and everything is okay there. There's no hiccups there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Commissioner Ludlow, District 2.
Went to a NEMSCA meeting and we had the opportunity to go tour the new PACE building, which is in the old People's Building. It's under construction, opens in 25. It's a program for all-inclusive care for the elderly, combines medical and social for those 55 and older. And they were really going into it, so might be a little older and they might be a little quicker than I anticipated.
Okay.
I do have diagrams if anybody wants to look at them.
Okay, all right. Is that all? the
That's
report?
it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna normally.
Right.
When
Yeah.
when Robin would talk, I would have to tell her to breathe. So hopefully you're good enough with,
Well, I haven't had any of those meetings.
then you're
so-
gonna be brief.
But there is a Thunder Bay Transportation meeting Thursday
Okay,
that I'll be attending. And now the Fair Board liaison, do I reach out to them? I guess.
So-
Everybody else has reached out to me that I've been on the committees.
I think Kim can tell you probably when those meetings are,
I can send it too.
and then you
Because
can,
okay.
so, okay. All right,
So I should have a Thunder Bay Transportation report the next week.
okay, sounds good. Commissioner Peterson?
Yeah, we had a yearly meeting with Judicial Court with Judge Black and we set the budget for next year. Basically, that was going on. I'll be chair of that committee again. BOA, we just finished up our budget. With that, the next meeting, I think really about $6.5 million, 6.5 million gallons put down the injection well so far this year, saving us a ton of money. And Target, they presented it last board meeting. Our next meeting is in November.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Fournier, PhD.
I was not able to attend that meeting, but Bill was there.
Everything is going good there. they hired a new auditor out of Lansing Manor, Costerasan, for their audit for next year. And they couldn't find anybody around here that could supply that audit for them, so they did that. They're hiring a full-time sanitarian position for Sheboygan because they've got quite a uptick in food sources. So they need somebody to do that, plus all the other stuff that goes on with the sanitary and, septics and everything else. Well, they got a new van for the dental person. Delta Dental donated a van so that person could go around all the equipment they need around for dental, mostly for the kids. So everything is going there. The IT person said they're starting to get some scam stuff. They're watching that pretty close because they're getting 1 or 2 a week there at the office for stuff you shouldn't open up on, and they're watching that pretty close. So I guess everybody should watch that pretty close because it's getting. Other than that, everything finance there is all right. They run a pretty good ship over there, so.
Okay, all right, thank you. Commissioner Francisco, District 6.
Yes, but so the three agencies, if you were, organizations, LAPC, the local planning team and central dispatch, we met, Commissioner Bray and I, on 3 October. Nothing significant to report other than the organization, the elements continue to update the emergency operations plan. The MABUS system is continuing to be updated with the firefighters, the different firefighter organizations within the county and the townships. And they did some training with Wholesome on some rope rescue. That was very beneficial from what I understand. Regarding the opioid organization, Commissioner Fournier just gave an update. We haven't met in a couple of months, so no significant update there. And NMRE did not meet in October. We'll meet again in November.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Konashevsky is not here, so we'll skip over that. My stuff, I don't know, I still got listed there. Do we change that to teams, or is it officially teams now?
Still a DARE organization, but we're moving into the teams through the Michigan State Police. City Police have 2 officers trained in it. We have 1, and the state police have 1. So we're going to be getting back into schools.
Okay, so I don't know, Kim, can you just make a note, like it's DARE/teams or whatever, so get it kind of correct, it'll be more correct. iWorks and Northeast Michigan Consortium meets next Monday. Recycling NMMA. We have that meeting Thursday, and we'll be looking at hiring an executive director for that board, or for that committee, whatever you want to call it, position. And then United Way, I'm still waiting for someone to call me. No one ever, I talked to the guy and I still have not, I would think that by now that we had a meeting. Other than that, I don't really have any significant updates. Moving on to the next item. Unfinished business, special orders, correspondence. And, that's me. Okay, so speaking of Northeast Michigan Materials Management Authority, we received a cleanup day for next year for the electronics, and the committee, well, I won't say the committee, the couple of the individuals on that committee suggested an increase to the county, the city, and the township. So we were paying $5,000, and I think they sent out this request so that way we could get it budgeted for next year. I did talk to Bill yesterday after this. Feeling, and again, you vote your way you want to vote. So my feeling is that we remain at the 5,000, especially with some of the cuts that we've been talking. They wanted an increase of 2,500, and I know it's only 2,500, but still the fact that, you know, I can't say that. We're at a place where we are because of I guess, spending. Again, I know it's only 2,500, but my feeling, I don't know, Bill, how you feel. I think
I'll go along with you on that too. I think that thing has to start supporting itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Get used to.
it was supposed to support itself.
Yeah.
They're on a hire a director and nobody knows where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
So again, they sent out this letter to, you know, I think it went to all the townships as well, just for planning purposes for next year. So their request, as again, I said, was 7,500, but I'm gonna recommend if we stick to the 5,000 that we've done over the last several years. Can I make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Here we go. So we got a motion to pay the 5,000, support by Dan? Okay. Motion and support, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
The only thing I got, I know, you know, the $5,000, Mount Morenci, Oscoda, Alpena, excuse me, landfill, we dedicated $75,000 to next year to them too, so from our budget, so.
Okay.
Just want everybody to inform me on that, so. They know.
Okay, sounds good. No other discussion, no roll call, please.
Commissioner Bray?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes. And then the next item is a resolution for Family Court Awareness Month. Just find that. So we have a resolution. Did you stick me with this one, or did I tell you to stick?
They sent it to you.
Okay, so I said yes, so I'll read the resolution. So Family Court Awareness Month, whereas the mission of Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness of the importance of the family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interest of children, and whereas the mission of the FCAMC is fueled by the desire to create awareness, change in the family court system, and conservatively estimated 58,000 children a year ordered into unsupervised contact with abusive parents, while honoring the hundreds of children who have been reported as murdered due to court-ordered to visitations with a dangerous parent. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to increase awareness on the importance of the empirically based education and training on domestic violence and child abuse, including the emotional, physiological, physical, and sexual abuse, as well as childhood trauma, coercive control, and post-separation abuse for judges and all professionals working on cases within the family court system. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to increase awareness on the importance of using scientifically valid, evidence-based treatment programs and services that are proven in terms of safety, effectiveness, and therapeutic value. And whereas the mission at the FCAMC is to educate judges and other family court professionals utilizing scientifically sound, evidence-based, peer-reviewed research, such as research in a critical component to making decisions that are truly in the best interest of children. Now, there it be resolved that the Alpena County Board of Commissioners hereby declare a month of November to be Family Court Awareness Month. We encourage all residents to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the harm of children in the hands of family members and to honor the value and honor and value the lives of the children. So,
Motion.
so we have a motion by Commissioner Peterson. Support by Commissioner LaHaye. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Bunch of big words there yet.
Yeah. My glasses aren't the greatest either. Okay, motion passed. So next up is the fairgrounds discussion.
So this is just something that came up and I wanted to keep the board apprised. I met with both the fair board president as well as our fairgrounds supervisor, and there was an issue this past year and it kind of created a little bit of chaos. So we worked out a plan and I just wanted to make sure the board was okay with it and see if I could get their approval to move forward. The issue was we had individuals who were camping there during Fair Week, and the problem is when you're coming and going, you didn't have like the placard allowing you to come and go. So the fair was charging individuals who were coming in to camp that week to be able to come into the campground to camp there. The problem was they said they had no way of monitoring these individuals once they were in. So if they were just staying in their campground, that was fine, but they could wander and there was no way to know whether or not they paid the fee at the door. So what we decided to do was give until December 1st for the Fair Board and their affiliates to go ahead and secure their locations for next year. And then starting on December 1st, we would open it up to the public. And then the week of the fair would increase the price by $20 for camping spots, turning that $20 over to the Fair Board. So that the individuals who secure camping locations for that week would have the option to wander around the fairgrounds. At the same time, the Fair Board's not losing money for individuals, but maybe taking advantage of it if they weren't paying something on the way in. So it just kind of fixes everything. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of a complicated thing, but does that make sense? You want me to kind of try again? All right, okay. So again, just by increasing the cost for that 1 week by $20, and then that $20 per campsite would be turned over to the Fair Board. Individuals who camp that week would have access to the fair.
How would they be identified?
They get a placard in their car so they can come and go. Because that was the issue last time was we had people who were camping. They didn't know it was Fair Week when they reserved their camp spots. They were coming in and the Fair Board was charging them at the gate because that was the only way they could monitor the cars coming and going. It's kind of a compromise.
Camp spot, they were getting charged when they came back.
But no, they'd have to purchase the placard for their car to come and go. So it's usually $15 a person. So we figured by doing 20, if there's two people, there might be a deal, but also not everybody who's coming in is going to be wandering around the fair.
Be good for the entire time that they're camping.
For the whole week, yes. Yeah. And that was something the Fair Board felt was fair. We felt was fair, it just.
They would just pick that up when they register to camp.
Correct.
How will we transfer that? Because
I need to talk to her sure about that. But I didn't want to have a conversation before I found out that was even something that the board would be.
we need to make a motion on that? Because we're not really.
We are changing the rates for that 1 week, so I feel comfortable with at least.
Not only are you changing the rates, you're also agreeing to give that $20 per site back to the fair.
Yeah. All right, so does someone want to make a motion to approve that we increase the camping for the $20 to cover the placard or whatever, and then we transfer that money to the Fair Board?
Make that motion.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Ludlow,
I'll support that.
support by Commissioner LaHaye. Any other discussion? We don't need roll call, do we?
Yeah.
It's money coming in. No,
You do.
need a roll call.
Spending money, you want a roll call?
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Bray?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes.
Motion carried.
That's the majority of this stuff on our, oh, no, we got public comment, I'm sorry. Public comment, final public comment. Going once, twice. Anyone online? Okay,
I'd
so,
just like to thank the ladies in the pool. The donation
yep.
is well appreciated. Thank you. And I'd like to thank Tony for possibly stepping up to help us with MSU. That is very grateful. Thank you.
That was you being filtered?
Today I'm filtered. I'm not unfiltered. I'm
Okay,
filtered.
good. All right, with that, we'll go into closed session.